Good evening and welcome to Conspiracy Cafe. I'm your host, George Freund. We're here on ThatChannel.com here in Toronto, and tonight is the test. It'll be a test for you too. This show will be a little bit on the gruesome side because we're going to deal with a lot of issues in Haiti, so be forewarned. And being a human being with a little bit of feelings and such like that, I may invoke a little invective here or there. Not too crazy about people killing children and such like that, so it does bring out the beast in me. It's been an awesome day. It was a Power Hour Thursday, so if you're from the Power Hour, we welcome you aboard. If you're from their sponsors, Conspiracy King, welcome aboard too. We're getting quite a following from there, as I understand it. And we did get something accomplished today. We did embarrass the Canadian government by rubbing their nose in the dead bodies in Haiti, and it appears the federal government has decided in its infinite wisdom to send a field hospital to Haiti. It'll be there in about 3 days. Of course, that means 30,000 more people will be dead, but in their infinite wisdom, that's the best we can come up with. You see, in plain language, it seems to be the only thing the American government and the Canadian government seem to understand is plain language. 10,000 people dying every day is the equivalent of 20 fully loaded jumbo jets going boom. The big mess at the beginning was 140 jumbo jets going boom. So every day we're going to drop the equivalent of 20 jumbo jets in Haiti as people die from just simple things, probably lack of sterile water, some maybe medical dressings, someone to irrigate wounds and get rid of infection, maybe some simple antibiotics that we take for granted here, an IV, just simple life-saving stabilization methods that we use and take for granted in the industrialized world. They're going to succumb to that every day, every minute. By the time this show's over, there's probably hundreds will succumb to this, writhing in agony. They're doing surgery at the equivalent of Civil War standards, a little bit of something liquid and full of alcohol to drink, maybe something to sterilize your wounds if you're lucky, and then just a big cut and saw to take off the limbs while 3 or 4 people hold you down on the ground and you bite off your tongue probably. So it's just a total disaster down there. If we just as a, you know, a symbol of response, if we sent every fireman we have in Canada and every policeman, you know, we'll keep half. We'll either keep the RCMP or the municipal police and all the ambulance attendants, and we sent them all down there, we'd probably barely be able to break even. That's how much they need. But of course, we won't do that. We just send little token thises and that's. And that's probably why we see the New World Order agenda coming along here to eliminate the human race. So, we'll do something a little unusual just to invoke a little prayer power into this. We'll say a prayer for the people in Haiti because maybe that's about all we can do because of our lackluster, useless governments. Lord, we share this planet with people of many diverse cultures and customs, but we are all your children. Please give grace to our brothers and sisters in Haiti. Protect the injured and the children, heal their wounds, and treat all manner of men to higher ideals. Shield them from evil. Open the roads, the ports, and the airfields. Bring the necessities of life so that we can eliminate their suffering. Soften the hearts of the leaders. Let them see what we take for granted. Forgive us for our shortcomings. Focus our prayer on the needy. Bless them and keep them, Yahweh God, because they're going to need all the help they can get. This isn't going to get any better. It's only going to get worse. We didn't have some time a couple of shows ago to talk about a major earth-shifting scenario that's happening in the world that kind of parallels the 2012 movie. And if we can zoom in on the screen, Blue, we'll just show people this gigantic hole that formed in the rift of Ethiopia. And mention some legitimate study that came from the University of Rochester. African desert rift confirmed as new ocean in the making. So in a very short period of time, this gigantic hole appeared in a matter of years in the rift of Ethiopia. And the downside to this research from the University of Rochester is that this can happen very, very quickly they can't really tell or discern what's going on under the water, but in a period of a few short years you could see major changes in the dynamic of the planet Earth. That's very, very important. One of the stories that was going to go along with it from the National Geographic website, North Magnetic Pole moving east due to core flux, something in the neighborhood of 40 miles, 64 kilometers every year. The magnetic North Pole is shifting. Now, when you realize how much rock and stone is probably involved with this shift, that's just absolutely monumental. My special assistant, Agent 99, can actually determine the rate of movement just from her hand compass, that it's obviously noticeable from time to time as you measure this stuff. Absolutely phenomenal. And then another, just a little piece that we never got into as well, was just a little bit of a history story. We did a great thing getting a book for Christmas called The Imperial Cruise, the story of Teddy Roosevelt and his trip across the Pacific to go and set the stage for World War I, World War II, and God knows what else. I'm just starting to go through it. It's really almost sickening to know what's in people's hearts. But this is the front page here of a New York newspaper when the Americans were in the Philippines. The order given to the soldiers is on the top: kill everyone over 10. And in the back you see the firing squad shooting the helpless little Filipino boys to death because their skin isn't white enough for the rest of us. And then this is really a little too big, I guess, for you, but this is the same period around 1902, Life magazine. And we see our heroic brethren here doing what we do nowadays in the American military, the waterboarding thing with, low budget operation. They didn't have the boards. They just laid you on the ground, tied you up, and poured it down your throat with a little bucket there while everybody jeered in the background. And being real evil bastards, what they did when they filled you with water is give you a rifle butt in the stomach, and the big bet was to see what's going to burst first. Will you talk, or will your intestines and vital organs spread all over the place? So they even had a song written about it too, the U.S. Army marching song, The Water Cure. Get the old syringe, boys, and fill it to the brim. We caught another nigger and we'll operate on him. Let someone take the handle who can work it with a vim. Shout the battle cry of freedom. Hurrah, hurrah, we bring the Jubilee. Hurrah, hurrah, the flag that makes him free. Shove in the nozzle deep and let him taste of liberty, shouting the battle cry of freedom. We've come across the bounding main to kindly spread around sweet liberty whenever there are rebels to be found. So hurry with the syringe, boys, we've got 'em down and bound, shouting the battle cry of freedom. Oh, pump it in him till he swells like a toy balloon. The fool pretends that liberty is not a precious boon, and will contrive to make him see beauty of it soon, shouting the battle cry of freedom. Keep the piston going, boys, and let the banner wave, the banner that floats proudly o'er the noble and the brave. Keep it on till the squirt gun breaks, or he explodes, the slave, shouting the battle cry of freedom. That's how much fun our American friends had in the Philippines. That was the standing order of an American general to shoot everyone over 10, and that was the, just the common practice of using, horrible weapons, the waterboarding torture to hurt people. And one of the other big surprises, because, we think of words in a certain way, we forget the Orwellian dialectic and the interpretation of words. But one word that, always struck me as being a good thing in a way was the word called philanthropy. And then one of the best-selling textbooks that they used in those days was called Types of Mankind, and they defined philanthropy. Philanthropy, as it was taught, a great aim of philanthropy should be to keep the ruling races of the world as pure and wise as possible, for it is only through them that the others can be made prosperous and happy. So basically, philanthropy isn't the nicest word in the world. It's more of a word that we might use to keep various races and cultures down, exploit them, use them, and it appears even kill them so we can take their land and make good use of it for corporations. That seems to be a good, strong past practice. In later